policy model will incorporate race as one of several factors to be considered in assessing an applicant's historic disadvantage. The difference in the new policy, which will only apply to applications for the 2016 student intake, is that race will no longer be the only indicator of disadvantage UCT will consider. Now, the additional indicators will include the applicant's home language, the education of his or her parents and grandparents, the applicant's school, and whether the applicant's family depends on social grants. The Higher Education Transformation Network has slammed the Council's decision, saying it is against the change in policy as black students will be affected in the long run. Now, to take this further and to discuss this matter, we are now joined in studio by Hendrick Makaneta from the Education Transformation Network. Hendrick, good morning and welcome to AM News.
Good morning, sir.
Now, was it a genuine move by the Council to change the university's intake policy?
No, absolutely not. It was not a genuine move, as we believe that this move will actually, in the long run, exclude the majority of black students in that campus. We therefore oppose it and will do everything that it takes to ensure that we oppose the current policy.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think it will exclude the majority black students? Because as what I've just read now, some of that policy would include background, race as well, which would be in the majority of black students, I would imagine.
Well, if you look at it, yes, the university is now trying to talk about race, to say that, yes, black students will be included. But the current policy, or the policy that came before this one, has always catered for blacks. And then there was really no need to change it. Mm-hmm. I think that the council realized that they must come up with a different way of introducing it. That's why they included black on it. But they are not genuinely committed to ensuring that black students, are in majority in that particular campus. We believe that in the long run, we'll see the exclusion, the massive exclusion of black students at the University of Cape Town.
Was the intention, you think, to make this policy the policy change a race issue or not?
Yes, of course. We believe that it is a race issue. Mm-hmm. We believe that UCT has got a hidden agenda to ensure that that particular campus does not have the black majority of students on its soil. And we also, in line with what has been said by the PYA in that particular campus, we believe that there are external forces that are trying to influence the decisions that are taken at UCT.
Now, talking about those external forces, most student bodies are saying that the new policies were introduced to please white donors and affluent white families whose children don't get offers at other universities. What's your take on that?
Yes, of course. Yesterday, the DA student organization, was the first, of all the progressive structures there. All the progressive forces have actually fought against this policy. That includes the ANC Youth League, SASCO, the YCL, and so on and so forth. But only the DA is the one that has been in the forefront of accepting this particular policy, mm-hmm. which makes it clear that the so-called open society from the DA, these are external forces trying to influence the decisions and the direction of the University of Cape Town to ensure that black students in the long run are excluded.
Now, talk to me about numbers. We're going to come back to the exclusion, but talk to me about numbers at the university currently. Where does it stand in terms of black students?
Well,
percentage-wise, just give us a ballpark.
Well, of course, let me not necessarily, I won't be able to give you the figures as it stands mm-hmm. now.
Okay.
Because as you know, numbers are growing from time to time. I don't really have the figures as it stands, but black students are still few mm-hmm. in the University of Cape Town, in as much as they are few in other
Now, your network has previously said that the UCT was not committed to transformation, and then they want to exclude black students. Take us through that process as to why you say that. Has that been the case over the many years now, since the dawn of democracy?
Well, when we speak of these issues, we are looking also in the staff establishment of the institution, the management and so on and so forth. If you go to UCT today, of course, you'll find that the majority of, especially people who are occupying managerial positions, are whites, and then blacks are found at the bottom of the particular scale. So it is within that context that we are saying that the university is not committed really to ensuring that transformation does take place.
Now, since you're opposing the policies, they've accepted this policy. What is your next move now?
Well, we have called upon the university to make sure that they come back to the table, to consult the students, to make sure that they scrap this particular policy and go back to the initial policy. But of course, if that does not happen, as HETN, we're not going to leave it there. We will go to the highest court in the land to ensure that this policy is scrapped. We'll even consult with the Equality Court to make sure that we address this particular policy.
Hendrick, thank you so much for joining us here on AM News, and thank you for coming through to the studio.
You're welcome.
That was Hendrick Makaneta. He's from the Education Transformation Network, but still to come here on AM